If you've seen the video of our 24 Hours of Lemons race in Houston way back in 2020, you'll know that we had a driveshaft failure that ended our race. Since then, the Lustang has been left in the woodshed, covered in dust, spiders and firewood. Having committed to go racing in Louisiana in a few months' time, we had to drag the Lustang out the woodshed, load it up on a trailer and take it to the shop that we would use to prep it for the next race. Given all the issues we'd had in the last two races with the automatic transmission, we decided it was time to convert to a manual transmission. So here we have the new manual transmission, our flywheel and clutch, a couple of boxes of odds and extras. And so we need to haul out the engine, transmission and start working on this car. We disconnected all the wires, hoses and connectors and then started to hoist the engine out of the engine bay. We found that due to the damage, the engine and transmission couldn't come out as a unit like it normally did. The only way we could get it out was to remove the transmission.
1, 2, 3.
There she goes.
Nice. It's one way to remove a transmission.
With the transmission out the way, it was easy to get the engine out. Unfortunately, the damage was more extensive than what we had thought. Even the starter motor's pinion gear had been damaged. Okay, so what we found, the tail shaft over here has cracked in half. As you can see, the bellow housing is no more and our input splines stripped when it locked up. So this transmission is done. Without installing the clutch, we mounted up the new transmission and attempted to fit it back in. It was quite a struggle, and what we found was that the transmission tunnel would have to be modified. We hauled the engine out again and then started cutting the transmission tunnel to make it fit. With the tunnel cut open, we slid the engine and transmission back into the Lustang. With the transmission in place, we were now able to bolt on the gear lever.
Kind of helped hold that seam right there where we separated it.
We installed some loops to strengthen the car body as well as protect against the driveshaft coming out to the top again, and then made a new transmission tunnel cover. We installed an aluminum transmission mount as well as a new driveshaft. This aluminum driveshaft could handle the RPMs that we would be putting out on the track. In the trunk of the car, we cut out the old spare wheel well and made ready to install our new fuel cell. The spare wheel well required a lot of persuasion to get it out of the car. Does.
Alright, so I have the weight of it.
Alright. Let down on this side. And this one is going to back or does it go to the side?
Sides.
Alright. built a cage to hold a fuel cell and then mounted the new fuel pump and fuel filter. To reduce the chance of the engine overheating again, we installed an oil cooler as well as a remote oil filter. Then it was finally time to try and start the Lustang again.
Blindly swapping.
That's the motivation I needed, right?
Job 2.
After all the effort we had put in getting her running again, we could hardly wait to take her outside for a test drive.
What do you think? Super Pump seems like it's working really hard.
We spent the next few days tweaking the engine parameters to make sure the Lustang was running correctly. Join us in our next episode when we take the Lustang to the 24 Hours of Lemons Can't Get Bayou event in New Orleans at the NOLA Motorsport Park.